सो हेलो बच्चों, लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड द ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस। अब बहुत स्टूडेंट्स की डिमांड थी ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस, ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस, ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस काफी डिफिकल्ट लगता है। सो लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस इन एन इजी वे। बहुत सिंप्लीफाइड करके बोलता हूं मैं ये ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस स्पेशली फॉर यू। एंड बच्चों सी दिस लेक्चर टिल द एंड, तभी वो सारा लेक्चर समझ में आ जाएगा। ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस, हाउ इज इट फॉर्म्ड, उसका फॉर्मेशन, देन उसके रिलेशंस एंड इट्स ब्रांचेस। ठीक है, so this is only brachial plexus that we are discussing. अब lesions of brachial plexus का एक separate lecture होगा। lesions of brachial plexus, that's a separate topic. ठीक है, तो आज हम डिस्कस करते हैं brachial plexus, right बच्चों? तो now you tell me what is a plexus? What is a plexus? अब काफी plexus भी होते हैं। एक तो brachial plexus भी नो, there's a plexus in the neck, क्या नाम होगा? cervical plexus. There's a plexus in the lumbar region, क्या बोलोगे? lumbar plexus. There's a sacral plexus, right? So there's a cervical plexus, there's a brachial plexus, there's a lumbar plexus, there's a sacral plexus. अब इतने सारे plexus होते हैं. Now, what is a plexus? Plexus is a network of nerves, and a network of nerves. That's a plexus. And कैसे बनता है ये plexus? How is a plexus formed? How is a plexus formed? Let us understand this. ये plexus बनता कैसे? Have a look. अब है ना, मैं एक डायग्राम ड्रॉ करता हूं आपके लिए। सी दिस इज अ सेक्शन ऑफ अ स्पाइनल कॉर्ड। ये सेक्शन है स्पाइनल कॉर्ड का। ये है डॉर्सल रूट, ये है वेंट्रल रूट, ये है स्पाइनल नर्व। डॉर्सल रूट, वेंट्रल रूट, स्पाइनल नर्व, राइट? सो दैट्स द सेक्शन ऑफ द स्पाइनल कॉर्ड। व्हाट इज दिस? ये है डॉर्सल रूट, ये है वेंट्रल रूट। What's this? That's a spinal nerve. Dorsal root, ventral root, spinal nerve. What is this? That's a dorsal horn. यह है ventral horn, है ना? Dorsal horn and ventral horn ये spinal cord के अंदर होते हैं. What is that? Dorsal root. What is this? Ventral root. अब ये बन गई spinal nerve. That's a spinal nerve. Perfect है? Yeah, this you must be knowing. This is a section of the spinal cord. Now this spinal nerve would divide. अब ये divide होगा into two. What do you call this as? A dorsal ramus, dorsal ramus or posterior ramus. And what is this? ये क्या होगा? Ventral ramus. So a spinal nerve divides into a dorsal ramus and a ventral ramus. ठीक है बच्चों, ये section of spinal cord है, ये clear है? So this is the dorsal root, ventral root, spinal nerve. Spinal nerve divides into a dorsal and a ventral ramus. Perfect. Now, what is this ventral ramus formed? This ventral ramus, यही वो ventral ramus है which takes part in the formation of a plexus. So this ventral ramus से बनेगा plexus. कोई भी plexus, cervical plexus हो, brachial plexus, lumbar plexus, sacral plexus, any plexus in general would be formed by the ventral ramus of the corresponding spinal nerve. Ventral ramus of the corresponding spinal nerve. तो अगर मैं ये statement लिखूं, if I write this statement, a plexus is formed by A plexus is formed by ventral ramus of the corresponding spinal nerve. CORESPONDING corresponding spinal nerve. चलो, ये क्लियर है? Just remember this, ये अपने दिमाग में ये फिट कर लेना. How is a plexus formed? A plexus is formed by the ventral ramus of the corresponding spinal nerve. ये corresponding spinal nerve का मतलब क्या है? What is the meaning of the corresponding spinal nerve? Like cervical plexus would be formed by what? The ventral ramus of cervical spinal nerves. Brachial plexus is formed by ventral ramus of C5 to T1. Lumbar plexus is formed by the ventral rami of the lumbar spinal nerves. And sacral plexus कैसे बनेगा? Ventral rami of the sacral spinal nerve. समझ में आ रहा है बच्चों? मतलब कोई भी plexus हो, it is always formed by the ventral ramus of the corresponding spinal nerve. Perfect. Very good. समझ में आ गया? हाँ, very good. तो अभी आप बोलोगे ये वेंट्रल रेमस प्लेक्सस बनाता है सर, वेंट्रल रेमस प्लेक्सस बनाता है, समझ में आ गया। अब वो डॉर्सल रेमस का क्या है फिर? व्हाट डज द डॉर्सल रेमस डू? द डॉर्सल रेमस सप्लाइज द मसल्स ऑफ द बैक। ये बैक के जो मसल्स है ना, उससे वो डॉर्सल रेमस सप्लाई करेगा। एंड वेंट्रल रेमस विल सप्लाई द मसल्स ऑफ द वेंट्रल एस्पेक्ट, एंटीरियर एस्पेक्ट। हाँ, तो ये प्लेक्सस बनाता है। समझ में आया बच्चों? सो व्हाट इज अ प्लेक्सस? क्लियर है? प्लेक्सस इज अ नेटवर्क ऑफ नर्व्स। एंड हाउ इज अ प्लेक्सस फॉर्म्ड? बाय द वेंट्रल रेमस ऑफ द करस्पॉन्डिंग स्पाइनल नर्व। वेंट्रल रेमस ऑफ द करस्पॉन्डिंग स्पाइनल नर्व, इट फॉर्म्स अ प्लेक्सस। परफेक्ट है। सो अब हम क्या पढ़ेंगे? ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस। बाद में सर्वाइकल प्लेक्सस पढ़ेंगे, हेड एंड नेक में लंबार प्लेक्सस, एब्डोमेन में पढ़ेंगे। फाइन। ओके, चलो लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड द ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस। सो हाउ इज द ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस फॉर्म? ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस कैसे बनता है? आई विल स्टार्ट, जस्ट हैव अ लुक बच्चों। ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस वैसे बुक्स में देखोगे तो बहुत ज्यादा डिफिकल्ट है। जस्ट सी माय वे ऑफ एक्सप्लेनिंग द ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस, वेरी इजी। लिसन, so this is C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1. C5, C6, C7, C8, T1. What are these? ये कौन है? ये कौन है? ये कौन है? बोल सकते हो ये कौन है? These are the ventral rami. यही है ventral rami. This is ventral rami. Look, अगर मुझे ड्रॉ करना है, ये देखो, if I have to draw it here, मैं अगर ऐसे ड्रॉ करूं आपके लिए, हाँ ऐसे ड्रॉ करूं, ये देखो, अब क्लियर है? सो व्हाट इज दिस? वेंट्रल रेमस। सो ये स्पाइनल नर्व है, ये स्पाइनल कॉर्ड है, डॉर्सल रूट, वेंट्रल रूट, स्पाइनल नर्व, डॉर्सल रेमस, वेंट्रल रेमस। ये जो वेंट्रल रेमस है ना, वेंट्रल रेमस ऑफ C5, C6, C7, C8, T1, इससे क्या बनेगा? व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी फॉर्म्ड फ्रॉम दिस? द ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस। सो ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस इज formed by the ventral rami of C5 to T1, C5 to T1. अब we call them as roots. हम इसे बोलेंगे roots. So what are roots? What are roots? Roots are the ventral rami of C5 to T1. C5 to T1. These are roots. Ab roots will join to form what? Trunks. Roots will join to form the trunks. Trunks will divide into divisions. Trunk के क्या बनेंगे? Division. Division के क्या बनेंगे? Cords. Division will join to form the cords. And last is the nerves. Nerves. Nerves or branches. Nerves are branches. ठीक है? So what are the parts of the brachial plexus? बस याद रखना, roots, trunks, division, cords and nerves. ये parts है brachial plexus के, roots, trunks, division, cords and nerves. Simple. अब roots क्या है? Roots are the ventral rami of C5 to T1. C5 to T1 के ventral rami से what will form? Roots. Now suppose अब C4 बोलता है मुझे भी ले लो, आई ऑल्सो वॉन्ट टू पार्टिसिपेट, मुझे भी पार्टिसिपेट करना है। C4 का वेंट्रल रेमस बोलता है मुझे भी पार्टिसिपेट करना है, ठीक है, यू ऑल्सो कम। इफ C4 टेक्स पार्ट इन द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस, वन मोमेंट, अगर C4, if C4 takes part in the formation of brachial plexus, we call it as prefixed. Prefixed. If C4, ventral ramus of C4, अगर brachial plexus के formation में part लेता है तो we call it as prefixed. If T2 takes part, it is known as postfixed. Postfixed. If T2 takes part in the formation of the plexus, it is known as postfixed. अगर C4 takes part, it is prefixed. If T2 takes part, it is postfixed brachial plexus. Fine. Okay. So normally brachial plexus कैसे बनता है? Normally brachial plexus is formed by C5 to T1. C5 to T1. Ventral ramus. Ventral ramus. Do not forget ventral ramus. So brachial plexus is formed by the ventral rami of C5 to T1. वो ventral ramus को we call them as roots. Perfect. So roots are the ventral rami of C5 to T1. अब C5 बोलता है, C5 बोलता है, you are my friend, we both go together, हम साथ साथ में जाते हैं. So C5, C6 joins to form the upper trunk. ये trunk है ना, upper trunk. C5, C6 roots join to form upper trunk. C7 बोलता है, no, I will go alone, मुझे कोई नहीं चाहिए साथ में, I'll go alone. So C7 से क्या बनेगा? Middle trunk. And C8 and T1 joins to form the lower trunk. So C5 C6 से upper trunk, C7 से बना middle trunk, C8 and T1 forms the lower trunk. Perfect है? Perfect. Now each of this trunk divides into a dorsal, this is dorsal, dorsal, dorsal division, अब ये क्या आ गया division, and a ventral, ventral and ventral division, ventral division. You can call this as posterior and anterior division also. Ventral is anterior, dorsal is posterior. No confusion, no confusion. कोई कोई बुक्स में anterior posterior दिया है, posterior is dorsal, anterior is ventral. Perfect है, समझ में आ रहा है बच्चों? Okay, so C5 C6 से बना upper tongue, C7 बोलता नहीं मैं अकेले जाऊंगा, that is middle tongue. C8 and T1 से बना lower tongue. Now each of this trunk divides into a dorsal ventral divisions और anterior posterior division. Now अब देखो मजा देखो कहाँ है. The ventral division of upper trunk and the ventral division of middle trunk joins to form the lateral cord. इससे बना lateral cord. अब क्या आ गया? Cords, है ना? ये आ गया cords. So ventral division of upper and middle trunk से बना lateral cord. Ventral division of lower trunk से बना medial cord, medial cord, medial cord. And dorsal division of all the three trunks, dorsal division of all the three trunks joins to form the posterior cord, posterior cord. Fine. So C5, C6 से बना upper trunk, C7 is middle trunk, C8 and T1 is lower trunk. Each of this trunk divides into dorsal ventral, dorsal ventral, dorsal ventral divisions. The ventral division of upper and middle trunk से बना lateral cord. The ventral division of lower trunk से बना medial cord. And the dorsal division of all the three trunks joins to form the posterior cord. Simple, simple. And ये diagram आपको draw करना है. अगर see, if you see in the books ना, books में बहुत complex diagrams दिया है, 3D diagrams दिया है. This is a simple line diagram. इतना easy है brachial plexus. That's brachial plexus. खत्म. अब उसके ब्रांचेस देखने, ब्रांचेस ऑफ लैटरल कॉर्ड, मीडियल कॉर्ड एंड पोस्टीरियर कॉर्ड, वो अपन देखेंगे. हाँ, ब्रांचेस विल सी. अब इसकी रूट वैल्यू बोलना. व्हाट इज द रूट वैल्यू? रूट वैल्यू ऑफ अपर ट्रंक बोलो. रूट वैल्यू ऑफ अपर ट्रंक इज C5 C6. C5 C6. मिडिल ट्रंक का हो गया C7 एंड लोअर ट्रंक का क्या होगा? C8 एंड T1. C8 एंड T1. ठीक है. नाउ व्हाट इज द रूट वैल्यू ऑफ लैटरल कॉर्ड? अब lateral cord is formed by the ventral division of upper trunk C5 C6, ventral division of middle trunk C7. तो lateral cord का रूट वैल्यू क्या होगा? C5 C6 C7. समझ में आ रही है? C5 C6 C7 ये बन गया branches of lateral cord. Medial cord is formed only by the ventral division of lower trunk. Lower trunk का रूट वैल्यू क्या है? C8 T1. So इसका रूट वैल्यू क्या होगा? C8 and T1. C8 and T1. And posterior cord is formed by all the roots, all the trunks. So posterior cord का root value क्या होगा? C5 to T1. ये root values बहुत ज़्यादा important है बच्चों. Root values are very important. समझ में आया ये? Perfect है? Simple है. That's the brachial plexus. इसकी root values ऐसे याद रखना. So roots C5 C6 joins to form upper trunk, C7 is middle trunk, C8 T1 is lower trunk, divides into dorsal ventral divisions. Ventral division of upper and middle trunk से बना lateral cord, ventral division of lower trunk continues as medial cord, dorsal division joins to form the posterior cord. That's it. Now we come to the branches of the cords. Branches of the cords. अगर C4 part लिया brachial plexus में तो उसे हम बोलेंगे prefixed. अगर T2 part लिया brachial plexus के formation में, we call that as postfixed. Perfect. Now we come to the branches of the brachial plexus. Branches. Now branches from the lateral cord. Lateral cord. Lateral cord का root value क्या है? C5, C6, C7. This is the root value of lateral cord. C5, C6, C7. What are the branches of lateral cord? One is lateral pectoral nerve. Lateral pectoral nerve. Second is the lateral root of median nerve. Lateral root of median nerve. And third is musculocutaneous. Musculocutaneous मतलब एक nerve होती है ना, एक nerve है which supplies the muscles. अब muscles को तो supply कर लिया. Now it says I want to supply the skin. It itself becomes cutaneous. मतलब the nerve supplies the muscles and itself becomes cutaneous. वो खुद cutaneous बनती है. It is therefore known as musculocutaneous. That's musculocutaneous. Lateral pectoral nerve, कहीं पे सुना है lateral pectoral? Yes, it supplies the pectoralis major and the pectoralis minor. So pectoralis major and minor का nerve supply क्या होगा? Lateral and medial pectoral nerve. So lateral pectoral nerve is a branch of lateral cord. एक है lateral root of median nerve. ये इससे बनेगा median nerve. I'll tell you that later. इससे बनेगा median nerve. Fine. So what is the root value of all this? C5, C6, C7. C5, C6 and C7. That's a root value. Lateral pectoral nerve, lateral root of median nerve and musculocutaneous. C5, C6, C7. Now coming to the medial cord. Coming to the medial cord. So ये lateral cord हो गया. Now come to the medial cord. इसकी root value क्या है? C8 and T1. C8 and T1. That's medial cord. What are the branches of medial cord? One is the medial pectoral nerve. Medial pectoral nerve. Medial pectoral nerve. Second, same है. Lateral pectoral. So medial cord का medial pectoral. The second branch is lateral root of median nerve. तो वो क्या बनेगा? The medial root of median nerve. Yes. The second is medial root of median nerve. Median nerve. समझ में आया? First two branches are same. Lateral cord का first branch lateral pectoral, medial cord का first branch medial pectoral. Easy है ना? Lateral root of median nerve. ये है medial root of median nerve. अब ये medial root of median nerve will join with the lateral root of median nerve. अब ये क्या बनेगा? Median nerve. ये बनेगा median nerve. So how is the median nerve formed? It is formed by the lateral root of median nerve, which is a branch of lateral cord, and the medial root of median nerve, which is a branch of medial cord. मजा आ रहा है? मजा आ रहा है? हाँ, very good. Up third is the nerve which supplies the skin on the medial aspect of the arm. ये क्या है? Arm. Skin को supply करेगा. Medial aspect of the arm. What do we call this as? इसे क्या बोलोगे? Medial cutaneous nerve of arm. Medial cutaneous nerve of arm. एक nerve है, that is the medial cutaneous nerve of forearm. Medial cutaneous nerve of forearm. मतलब एक nerve है which supplies the skin on the medial aspect of arm. एक nerve है which supplies the skin on the medial aspect of forearm. ठीक है? So that's a medial cutaneous nerve of arm. That's a medial cutaneous nerve of forearm. इन सबका root value क्या होगा? C8 and T1. इन सबका root value है C8 T1. Medial pectoral nerve, medial root of median nerve, medial cutaneous nerve of arm. This is going to supply the skin on the medial aspect of the arm. एक nerve होगा which is supplying the skin on the medial aspect of forearm. That's a medial cutaneous nerve forearm. ये सब branches है medial cord जिसका root value है C8T1. So all this will have the root value C8T1. One nerve is left. This is something special. Huh? Yes, special. Ulnar nerve. The last branch of medial cord is ulnar nerve. But ulnar nerve is something special. Why? Because its root value is C7, C8 and T1. C7, C8, T1. Ulnar nerve is a branch of medial cord. Ulnar nerve medial cord की branch है. What is the root value of medial cord? C8, T1. तो इसमें भी तो C8, T1 होना चाहिए. समझ में आ रहा है? तो where does this C7 come from? ये C7 कहाँ से आ गया? C7. The C7 comes from lateral cord. Lateral cord. So ये जो C7 के fibers है ना, they come from the lateral cord. Lateral cord बोलता है, ulnar nerve बोलते हैं, मुझे help करो ना. I need some more fibers. कोई मुझे help करो, कोई मुझे fibers दो. Lateral cord बोलता है, wait, I'll give you some fibers. So lateral cord fibers देता है C7 के. So the root value of ulnar nerve becomes C7, C8, T1. Perfect. Understanding? ये एग्जाम्स में पूछते हैं, एमसीक्यूज में पूछते हैं, वाइवास में पूछते हैं. What is the root value of ulnar nerve? So ulnar nerve is a branch of medial cord. Medial cord का root value is C8T1. So ulnar nerve is C7, C8T1. The C7 fibers come from the lateral cord. Perfect. You just try to compare this lateral cord and medial cord. Lateral cord and medial cord को compare करो. Lateral cord का first branch, lateral pectoral. Medial cord का first branch, medial pectoral. The lateral and the medial pectoral nerves are going to supply the pectoralis major. They are going to supply the pectoralis major. The lateral root of medial nerve, the medial root of medial nerve, they will join to form the median nerve. ये medial nerve बनाएगा. Lateral को हाँ ठीक है. And उसका third branch is musculocutaneous. इसका sorry, medial cutaneous nerve arm, medial cutaneous nerve forearm. The last is ulnar nerve. Perfect है. Okay, excellent, very good बच्चों, बहुत अच्छा, बहुत अच्छे. हाँ, लेकिन पूरा लेक्चर देखना, पूरा लेक्चर देखोगे तब समझ में आएगा सब. Suspense है. Okay. Now coming to the posterior cord, we start with the posterior cord. Posterior cord. What is the root value of posterior cord? C5 to T1. C5 to T1. That's the root value of posterior cord. Nerves, upper subscapular. Upper subscapular nerve. Second is the lower subscapular. Lower subscapular. Upper subscapular nerve supplies the subscapularis muscle. Upper subscapular nerve supplies the subscapularis muscle. The lower subscapular nerve supplies the subscapularis and teres major. Subscapularis and teres major को supply करती है lower subscapular nerve. याद रखना. Upper subscapular nerve किससे supply करती है? Subscapularis muscle को. The lower subscapular nerve supplies the subscapularis and teres major. Minor nahi, teres major. Very good. Third is axillary nerve. Axillary nerve. Ab axillary nerve supplies what? Deltoid, teres minor. Axillary nerve supplies the deltoid and teres minor muscle. मतलब teres minor muscle को axillary nerve supply करती है. Teres major is supplied by the lower subscapular nerve. Excellent. बहुत सुंदर, बहुत सुंदर. Now, all this, ये तीनों का रूट वैल्यू क्या होगा? ये तीनों का रूट वैल्यू है C5, C6. C5, C6. देखो, posterior cord का रूट वैल्यू है C5 to T1. The root value of posterior cord is C5 to T1. Doesn't mean all the branches will have C5 to T1. C5 to T1 becomes a big nerve, big nerve. तो posterior cord का रूट वैल्यू है C5 to T1. Doesn't mean all the branches will have C5 to T1. इसमें से upper subscapular, lower subscapular, axillary, ये तीनों का रूट वैल्यू is C5, C6. Upper subscapular, lower subscapular and axillary, उसका रूट वैल्यू है C5, C6. Fine. Now next comes the nerve 2 latissimus dorsi. Nerve 2 latissimus dorsi. This is what we call as the thoracodorsal nerve. Thoracodorsal nerve. Nerve to latissimus dorsi or thoracodorsal nerve, इसका रूट वैल्यू है C6, C7, C8. C6, 7, 8. So upper subscapular, lower subscapular, axillary. Root value C5, C6. Nerve to latissimus dorsi or thoracodorsal, the root value is C6, 7, 8. And the last nerve is radial. इसका रूट वैल्यू है C5 to T1. C5 to T1. All the roots. Radial nerve 5 हो गए ना? हाँ, radial nerve is a continuation of posterior cord. Radial nerve जो है, it's a continuation of posterior cord. Radial nerve का root value is C5 to T1. C5 to T1. Fine. So these are the branches of posterior cord. So posterior cord is upper subscapular, lower subscapular, axillary, C5, C6, nerve to latissimus dorsi, C6, 7, 8, and the last one is radial nerve, C5 to T1. तो ये है brachial plexus. बच्चों समझ में आया ये? Easy है, easy है, perfect है. And just try to understand this. तो ये है basic brachial plexus. मतलब कैसे बनता है? Roots, trunks, division, cords, nerves, ये clear है? अब बोलो ये roots है ना, roots, ये कहाँ पे है? Where are the roots located? In the neck. The roots are in the neck. And then the brachial plexus starts from the neck. ये neck से begin होता है. It enters the axilla. It begins from the neck and it comes into the axilla. That's how the brachial plexus is. So have a look at this. Look at this slide. That's a beautiful slide. That's a beautiful slide. बच्चों identify कर लो. ये कौन है? Roots. ये कौन है? Trunks. ये कौन है? Division. ये है cords and these are the nerves. These are the nerves. So ये कहाँ पे है? Neck में. Roots, trunks are in the neck. if we take clavicle as the reference, ये clavicle है, हाँ, ये clavicle है, तो divisions कहाँ होते हैं? It's behind the clavicle. मतलब roots and trunks ये neck में होंगे, neck में. That's divisions are behind the clavicle, retroclavicular, and the cords and nerves are in the axilla. Cords and nerves are in the axilla. समझ में आ रहा है? Roots and trunks are in the neck. Divisions clavicle के पीछे होते हैं. Cords and nerves are in the axilla. समझ में आ रहा है? Okay, let us understand this. So roots and trunks and trunk are found in the neck. Divisions are retroclavicular, and the cords and nerves are found in the axilla. Cords and nerves are found in the axilla. So roots and trunks in the neck. Divisions are retroclavicular, मतलब clavicle के पीछे. Cords and nerves are found in the axilla. अब in the axilla, cords and nerves axilla में होते हैं. Around this artery, tell me now, what is this artery? ये कौन सी artery है? Axillary artery. That's the axillary artery. So cords and nerves are in the axillary, are surrounding the axillary artery. Cords and nerves are surrounding the axillary artery. एक sheath में होते हैं, present in the sheath. वो sheath का नाम है axillary sheath. Axillary sheath. Okay, I'll just mention this for you. So, cords, कैसे लिखो इसको? Cords and nerves. Cords and nerves are found in the axilla, around the axillary artery, around the axillary artery, in the axillary sheath, in the axillary sheath, in the axillary sheath. Okay, so cords and nerves are found in the axilla, around the axillary artery, in the axillary sheath. Fine. So now just tell me one thing, just try to understand this. एक छोटा सा diagram draw करता हूँ, बस ये ना relations आने चाहिए. This is the first rib, ये first rib है, ये है अपनी artery. This is our axillary artery. What muscle is this? ये muscle कौन सा है? This is the teres major. Teres major. This is the teres major muscle. So what is this artery now? That becomes the brachial artery. That's a brachial artery. What is this artery? This is the subclavian artery. That's a subclavian artery. मतलब subclavian artery जैसे first rib को cross करती है, it becomes the axillary artery. Axillary artery continues as what? Brachial artery. At the lower border of which muscle? ये कौन सा muscle है? Teres major. Teres major के नीचे it becomes the brachial artery. Now this axillary artery is divided into three parts by, what is this muscle? Pectoralis minor. Pectoralis minor divides the axillary artery into three parts. That's the first part, that's the second part, that's the third part. First part, second part, third part of axillary artery. Fine. So now just try to understand the cords of the brachial plexus. अब ये axilla है. This is the axilla, है ना? तो axilla में which part of the brachial plexus do we get? Cords and nerves. Cords and nerves कहाँ पे होते हैं? Axilla में. Around the axillary artery, enclosed in the axillary sheath. Enclosed in the axillary sheath. Fine. So where do I get the cords and where do I get the nerves? So cords are present in the first and the second part, and the nerves are present in the third part. यहाँ पे लिखूँ मैं, cords are present in first and second part of the axillary artery, and nerves in the third part. समझ में आ रही है? So cords are present in the first and the second part of the axillary artery. दिख रहा है ना ये? Cords are present in the first and the second part of the axillary artery. Axillary artery. And the nerves are present in the third part. Fine. And just one more point. Cords are placed according to the names. Cords are placed according to the names in second part. Cords are placed according to the names in the second part. इसका मतलब क्या है? Cords are placed according to the names. मतलब, what is the meaning of this? We have got three cords. तीन cords अपने पास. Lateral cord, medial cord, posterior cord. lateral cord, medial cord, posterior cord, they are placed according to the names. Where? In the second part. मतलब this is the second part of axillary artery. Pectoralis minor के पीछे है second part of axillary artery. The cord which is lateral here is the lateral cord. The cord which is medial here is the medial cord. And जो पीछे होगा, that's the posterior cord. Understanding? So in the second part of axillary artery, the cords are placed according to the names. So the cord which is lateral in the second part is lateral cord, medial is medial cord, and पीछे होता है posterior cord. So what do you say? First part में क्या होगा? First part में the cords are not placed according to the names. वो ऐसे rotated होता है. मतलब ये जो medial cord है ना, वो पीछे जाता है. हाँ, this medial cord goes behind, and यहाँ पे दो cords होते हैं. हाँ, posterior and lateral cord इधर है, and this is the medial cord. मतलब ये ऐसे ऐसे रोटेट हो गए, ऐसे medial cord goes posterior and posterior cord goes lateral. बच्चों डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज्ड, बस फर्स्ट चीज क्या याद रखोगे? द कॉर्ड्स आर प्लेस्ड अकॉर्डिंग टू द नेम्स इन द सेकंड पार्ट. मतलब सपोज यू बिकम एमबीबीएस, एमएस जनरल सर्जरी, आपने एमसीएच ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस किया. एमसीएच ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस, माय गॉड, एमसीएच ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस, ओनली ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस, ओनली ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस. नाउ यू आर ऑपरेटिंग ऑन द लैटरल कॉर्ड. आप लैटरल कॉर्ड पे ऑपरेट करना चाहते हो. व्हाट डू यू डू? You first reflect the skin, superficial feature, reflect this big muscle, pectoralis major. You reflect the pectoralis major. What do you find now? Pectoralis minor. You reflect the pectoralis minor, which is that part of the axillary artery, second part. And the cord which is lateral in the second part has to be lateral cord. In the second part, the cord which is on the medial aspect in the second part is medial cord. And the cord piche hoga, that's posterior cord. I hope this is clear. The cords are placed according to the names in the second part. समझ में आ गया ये? First part में थोड़ा सा different है. First part में rotated है. And third part में क्या मिलेगा आपको? Third part you'll be getting the nerves. Third part में you'll be getting all the nerves. ये जितने भी nerves है ना, the branches, the cords, the branches, nerves or the branches you'll be getting in the third part. So cords are present in first and second part, and nerves are present in the third part. Perfect है? ये याद रखो. So brachial plexus clear है. Roots, ये trunks है. Roots and trunks, where are they? Roots and trunks are found at the neck. Divisions are behind the clavicle. The cords and nerves are in the axilla. Cords and nerves are in the axilla. Perfect to all of you. That's about the brachial plexus. So brachial plexus is a very, ये है ना, ऐसे line diagrams draw करना है बच्चों. Line diagrams draw करना है. It will be very easy for you. तो बच्चों आज हमने ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस देखा. तो व्हाट इज अ प्लेक्सस? इट्स अ नेटवर्क ऑफ नर्व्स. प्लेक्सस कैसे बनता है? बाय द वेंट्रल रेमी ऑफ द करस्पॉन्डिंग स्पाइनल नर्व्स. सो ब्रेकियल प्लेक्सस इज फॉर्म फ्रॉम C5 टू T1. C4 पार्ट लिया तो प्रीफिक्स्ड, T2 पार्ट लिया तो पोस्टफिक्स्ड. So C5 to T1 is roots. Roots will join to form the trunk. C5, C6 upper trunk, C7 middle trunk, C8, T1 lower trunk. Divides into dorsal ventral division. The ventral division of upper middle trunk से बना lateral cord. The ventral division of lower trunk बना medial cord, and the dorsal division joins to form the posterior cord. And then you get the branches of the cords. This should be on the tip of your tongue. That's about the brachial plexus. फिर उसके relations with the axillary artery. Where do the brachial plexus lie? Roots and trunks in the neck. Division कहाँ पे? Cords and nerves in the axilla. And the relation of the cords and nerves with the axillary artery. Cords are present in first and second part. Nerves in the third part. Like मुझे कोई भी nerve ढूंढना है, I search in the third part. Fine. And where do I get this? Where do I get the? ठीक है ना? Where do I get the nerves? In the third part. And where do I get the the cords? In the first and the second part. एक चीज बाकी है बच्चों. एक चीज बाकी है. So we have discussed the branches from the cords, है ना? Branches from the cords हमने discuss किया. Just 2 more minutes. 2 minutes. We have discussed the branches from the cords. अब branches from the roots भी होते हैं, branches from the trunks भी होते हैं ना. बस ये थोड़ा सा समझ लो. Branches from the roots and branches from the trunks. So branches from the roots of the brachial plexus. Branches from the roots of the brachial plexus. So this is C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1. ये ऐसे ड्रॉ करना है आपको. So what are the branch from C5 root? ये जो C5 root देख रहे हो, C5 root. So C5 root से आती है dorsal scapular nerve. C5 is dorsal scapular nerve. dorsal scapular nerve, that's nerve to rhomboids. Nerve to rhomboids. Nerve to rhomboid supplies the rhomboidus major, the rhomboidus minor, and the levator scapulae. Rhomboidus major, minor, and levator scapulae. That's nerve to rhomboids. दूसरी एक nerve है which comes from C5, C6, and C7 roots. C5, C6, and C7 roots से आती है. That is nerve to serratus anterior. Nerve to serratus anterior or the long thoracic nerve. Long thoracic nerve. Nerve to serratus anterior or the long thoracic nerve. So these are the branches from the roots. ये कहाँ से आ गए? Roots से. These are the branches from the roots. Up, what is this? This is the upper trunk. Upper trunk. And upper trunk से दो nerves आते हैं. There are two nerves which comes from the upper trunk. दो nerves आते हैं. So I'll just write it here. From the upper trunk, there are two nerves which comes. One is suprascapular nerve. ये क्या supply करेगी? This supplies the supraspinatus and infraspinatus. That's suprascapular nerve. And second is the nerve to subclavius. ठीक है. So from the upper trunk, there are two nerves which comes. One is the suprascapular nerve and the other one is the nerve to subclavius. Perfect है? Nerve to subclavius. So branches from the cords clear है ना? Branches from the cords clear है आपको? हाँ? वो जितने भी branches हमने देखे ना, ulnar nerve and all those things, these are the branches from the cords. अब there are branches from the roots. Roots से भी branches आते हैं. From C5 root is dorsal scapular nerve. C5, C6, C7 is nerve to serratus anterior or the long thoracic nerve. And upper trunk से, this is the upper trunk. Upper trunk से, that's suprascapular nerve which supplies the supraspinatus and infraspinatus. And the last one is nerve to subclavius. बस इतना याद रखना. So students, that's the complete brachial plexus for you, and I'm sure you understood this. है ना? समझ में आया कि नहीं? अगर कुछ नहीं समझ में आया है तो just comment in the box. आप कमेंट करिए. सो अगर कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, कुछ नहीं समझ में रहा है, that's fine, that's absolutely fine. You can always tell me. I'll add to it. अगर कुछ डाउट्स है तो पूछिए. I'll definitely answer to your doubts. Right? So students, one of the most difficult and the most complex topics, बहुत इजी तरीके से आप समझे हो. ऐसे ही देखते रहिए. फॉर मोर लेक्चर्स जस्ट लॉग इन टू एनाटॉमी अनलिमिटेड. दिस इज माय यूट्यूब चैनल, यू नो दिस. ये है मेरा इंस्टाग्राम हैंडल. स्मॉल रील्स इन अ फन वे. वाइवा सीरीज मैंने इस पे शुरू किया था. एंड दिस इज माय टेलीग्राम चैनल. सो स्टूडेंट्स, थैंक यू सो मच फ्रॉम माय एंटायर टीम ऑफ एनाटॉमी अनलिमिटेड. थैंक यू. बाय बाय.